Hello, my crafty friends. It's Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations, and today is day 15 of the Countdown to Christmas card series. And for today, the theme is tags. So I am going to be making 3 tags using this Simon Says Stamp Joy for You stamp set. So I am going to do 3 different looking tags with this one stamp set. So I have just cut some white cardstock to 2 inches. I'm not quite sure how, 3 maybe. And for the first one, I am just going to take the snowflakes from the stamp set and arrange them at the top of my tag. And I am going to stamp those using Distress Oxide in Chip Sapphire. And I will stamp these multiple times because the first time I did not do a very good job of stamping. You can see right there, I missed a whole section of it. So I'm just going to re-stamp these. Just to make sure that I have a good impression. And then because I'm a lazy crafter, I am going to take the packaging from the stamp set and lay it over my tag, and then I can move these dirty stamps without cleaning them and just fill in towards the bottom of this tag just so I can have a little less white space. I didn't end up using, I don't think I used them all. Maybe I did. And then I just pull the packaging away. I do have my waffle flower grip mat in my MISTI to help me hold down this tag. And so I'm just going to repeat that process. And then once I have those stamped as nicely as I'd like them to be, I am then going to take the For You with Love sentiment and take a scrap piece of paper, and I will stamp that with the same ink, and then off screen I will trim that down using my guillotine trimmer just to make it a little square. I lied. I didn't stamp it with coordinating ink. I'm stamping it with Versamark ink because I ended up heat embossing it with Brutus Monroe silver embossing powder. And so I will sprinkle the embossing powder over this, and off screen I will heat set it until it is smooth and melted. You've seen me do heat embossing before. While I love it, I didn't want this video to be too long because I am making 3 completely different type of tags. So now I'm going to take this thin white ribbon from my stash and just put some double-sided adhesive on the top and the bottom, and I am going to make this tag look like a package, like a wrapped package. So I'm just going to catch my ribbon in the top and the bottom, and then I will add a ribbon going across by doing the same method of adding some double-sided tape. So while you watch me do this, I am going to just tell you a little bit about this series. I am joining Michelle from Scrap Secrets. She asked me to join her 25 Days of Christmas countdown. She does this every year. She's been doing it for a really long time. Last year I joined her for just 1 video, and this year she asked me if I wanted to do all 25 with her, and I was absolutely thrilled because I needed some motivation to get some content out on my channel. I am still trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, and I love making Christmas cards, so I will link Michelle's channel down below because we do have completely different crafting styles. So while we have the same themes or techniques or stamp set, you will get to see 2 different takes on that, which I absolutely love. There are giveaways for this. I am currently, at the time of filming this or doing this voiceover, 1 away from hitting 800, and my mark to add another giveaway was to reach the 800 mark. So if you would like to, please feel free to subscribe to get me over that hump and closer to reaching 1,000 subscribers. I am going to add, like I said, another giveaway once I do reach the 800 mark. I did add, back to the tag, I did add some little foam squares into the 4 corners of that sentiment so that it would sit on around all the ribbon so that it wouldn't get weird when it was laying on it. And so now I've moved on to my second tag, and I'm taking the Diagonal Stripes stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that down, and I believe I used Mowed Lawn as my ink color here. And then I did have to stamp it a couple of times because I wasn't giving it enough pressure. It's not the stamp, it's not the MISTI, it was literally me. So I took it out and then decided I needed to put it back in because I am going to stamp the sentiment at the bottom of this tag. And here's where you should heat set, because I just smeared all of that ink. So I do restamp it. I saved you from watching me do that, but the sentiment and the stamp set, or the stripes, are all from the same stamp set. So this time I'm smartening up and taking some clear embossing powder so that I can heat set this so I don't smudge it again, because honestly I think this was the third time that I recreated this one particular tag. So I am adding again some double-sided adhesive so I can now add a strip of this green ribbon, this thin green ribbon, so that it kind of masks where my stamping ends and where the sentiment block, so it kind of gives it a more finished look. So that is going to complete the front of that tag for now. And so I am moving on to the third tag. So I am taking the Don't Open Until Christmas sentiment and the stars from this one. And so this time I'm going to do some emboss resist with this. So I'm going to stamp this with Versamark ink a couple of times, and then I will coat this with Alabaster white embossing powder from Burtis Monroe and heat set that off screen. Then I will take and move some of the stars to the bottom of the tag to kind of fill that in a little bit. And then again, coat that with the white embossing powder and heat set that. You want to make sure when you're heat embossing, because when you first put on your embossing powder, it will be grainy and dull looking. And so you want to heat your heat tool up before you begin heat embossing for a little bit so that it's warm. That will help you prevent warping of your cardstock. And then keep your tool moving, and you can tell when embossing powder is done because it will get smooth and shiny instead of this dull grainy look that you can see right here. It's actually neat that I got that angle to show up on the camera because it's white on white and usually you can't see a thing. So I'm just moving those stars so I can stamp them at the bottom. And then once I have those done, I am going to take some red Distress Oxide as I stick all the stamps together instead of placing them down. I'm going to take a blending brush and just completely coat this entire tag. And where I have it heat embossed, it will resist that ink, so it's not going to, when you first start doing it, it will look like it's going to completely ruin your tag and make things look like it's pink now, but it will wipe off with a dry cloth once you let it cool down. After you do heat emboss, you got to give it a second to cool, otherwise you will smudge your embossing. Ask me how I know that. And I can't quite tell. I think Candied Apple maybe might be the color that I went with. I have been on a kick of using Lumberjack Plaid, but I don't, that might be what that is. I've done so many cards, I'm not positive. It's one of the reds from my stash. And I did use a cloth just to keep my fingerprints off of the tag, and now I'm just wiping away the excess, and you can see that it comes back white on the front. So all of that resists. So here's the tags. Now I'm going to move on to show you the stamping of the back of one of them. I didn't show you all of them, and then at the end I will show you the finished tags, because I did do a hole punch and add some ribbon off screen for all of these. So I'm just adding the to and from to the back of this, and I'm doing the same thing for all three tags, and I will stamp that using the VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And so now I will go through and add this using some liquid glue to the front of my tag. And once I have that lined up, I am going to take the tag punch from We Are Memory Keepers and, you know, cut the corner so they have that angled tag look. If you had a tag die, you could absolutely use that, but this way you can do this without any special, you know, you could do this without any special tools. You could just trim your corners at an angle if you didn't have this. When I do add my hole punch to this particular tag, I do it off to the side because I have that ribbon right in the center, so I obviously don't want to be punching a hole near that. And so that is that tag. And here are all 3 finished. If you have any questions or comments, suggestions, feel free to leave them for me down below. Which one of these was your favorite tag? I did add a sticker to that one at the very end to give it a little more something. As always, I hope that you have a great day.